In this video, you're going to learn how to use the path tools. I have set up a few examples to demonstrate each of the path tools in a simple and fun way, and this same exercise will be included on the course website, so you can go ahead and try these exact same ideas out yourself. We'll start with our path union tool. Now what this tool does is it takes two objects that are totally enclosed, so no random loosey-goosey lines, but two objects that are entirely enclosed, and it brings them together. It basically welds them, so that way you really can't take them apart. So I have these letters, I wrote them earlier, and I used path, object path in order to make them be text that is easier to work with. And now I'm going to select the letter H, hold down the Shift key, select the state, and do path union. And I'll just go ahead and do this for the other letters. And there we go. So if we want, this would etch out onto whatever surface we put it on, or we could turn this into something silly like a fridge magnet by giving it a stroke and taking away the fill. And again, remember the width size of the stroke doesn't matter. All that matters when you're laser cutting something is that it has a stroke in the first place. Alright, so there is that design. I will make it a little bit smaller just so that way it's easy to kind of read what's going on in that image. And next we have our path difference tool. Now, very similar to the previous one, it will just take a byte out of one of your objects. Now the order matters here. You want your object you're subtracting from to be behind, and the object that you're subtracting with to be in front. So again, we select one, hold down Shift, click, and select the other object, go to path difference, and now we have a heart cut out of the state of Pennsylvania. Next up, we have path intersection. So going with this Pennsylvania theme, I thought it would be fun to capture a portion of the course of the Delaware River with a large letter D. So I'll adjust that a little bit so that way we kind of have a bit more of the edge in here. And I'll select, hold down Shift, select, and go to path, intersection, and now we have this cool D that has the course of the Delaware River in it. Okay, next we have path exclusion. So this is a funny one. I'll show you and then I'll talk about it. So select path exclusion. Now you can see it took away the part where the two shapes intersect. And this could be good for situations like this where you might want to combine two images and still have the larger silhouettes of each. And another cool factor of this one is that if I have it selected and then I go to path break apart, now all of these are two separate images. You know, they don't look as good apart, but you might have cases where you need to use this tool to break something apart while still having each of the objects. So that's useful right there. Next we have path division. And so for this one, say if I wanted to make a piece of a silhouette of Pennsylvania that was made up of three different types of wood, so like a light wood, a medium wood, and a darker wood. And I could cut up this shape and not lose any of the small spaces in between by using this tool. So we'll click on the two of these, path division, and it doesn't look too different yet, but we'll click off, and unlike the previous tool, this one actually, it's all separated already. There's no need to use the break apart tool. And let's just change the fill on this one to be very light, and this one to at the bottom to be darker. And it doesn't give you quite what it would look like in wood, but it can show how you can make a multi material piece very quickly. Okay, last one. So say we have this one which is cut path. Now unlike the other ones which deal all with complete shapes, again you can't use lines for cut path. You can't use lines for any of the other path tools, but you can with the cut path. So we will select these two objects and go to cut path, and all we've done is actually cut the path in half. Now if I try to give this object a fill, it will go right across here, but you can see, unlike most of our objects that we draw, this one has no line, no stroke on this side. So if you're planning on laser cutting something, this is probably not a tool you want to use, but maybe I'm making a bookmark. Let's say a bookmark. If I'm making a bookmark and I'm gonna make a copy of this. If I make this larger and I get rid of the fill, change the stroke style a little bit, see how it has these sharp ends. I'm going to change the caps on those, and then I'll do something fun here. I'm actually going to turn this, remember it's a line right now, and I'm going to change it from a stroke to a path using this path tool. And it doesn't look any different, but down here it changed from being a stroke to a fill, and we're going to use an earlier path tool to subtract it from our wooden bookmark that we're going to make here. And so we'll go to difference, and now we have the right side of Pennsylvania, where most of the Delaware River, or a good portion of the Delaware River is, excuse me. And we can cut this out and have it as a bookmark. Those are the basics of the path tools. There are a lot of other tools here, like, as we briefly discussed, break apart and also combine. There are inset and outset tools. I encourage you to explore those, and but those are pretty straightforward, and we'll have some fun projects coming up soon.